What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Willy Wonka today. I know you guys are here. You guys were waiting, and we're going to get to it. This one is called Prison Gangs, The Shoe, Part 3. Now, before we get to that title, this one is 5 years old. It has 360,000 views. And give me 1 second. Let's look at something. Can we see the comments? This is back when people liked Wes. I just finished eating, so I apologize. I swear there's something stuck right here. This one says, this comment, any ever notice how he never asks for likes or subs? He's a real G, for reals. And let's see what else. I love when he rage. It transferred his energy to me, and I do immediately burpees. How about you do immediately grammar? Those little bursts of rage have me cracking up. He's so intense, it's infectious. I love it. Okay. So that's back when they loved him. I'd like to see what those same people have to say about him now. Also, this is going to be a funny one. I wanted to do an older one. I wanted to do one where he was still, in the park. He wasn't riding around in Lambos and his Timu, with his Timu chains and, hanging around with Pump Me Up or Pump. But this is funny to me. It's very hilarious because it's called Prison Gangs, The Shoe, Part 3. He was never in the shoe. How do you have a part 1, let alone a part 3 about the shoe? Wes has never been to the shoe. The shoe, when you're a California inmate, is Corcoran, Pelican Bay, and then it was Tehachapi. He was never in Corcoran shoe. He was never in Pelican Bay shoe. He was never in Tehachapi shoe. He was in Ad Seg, which is a hole that every prison has, and he did his shoe term in the hole. He never went to the shoe. The hole and the shoe are two completely separate animals. So the fact that he can do 3 parts on a place he's never been, this one's got to be spectacular. So let's get right to it, man. Let's get right into this bullshit. As a matter of fact,
a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit.
We might be using that today quite often. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Part 3. Right.
The shoe part 3. You need to hear the shoe in multiple parts. This was a 14-month stretch. There's going to be plenty of parts about the shoe. So the 1904 on the back of my calves was the first tat I got in the shoe.
So I was in the shoe 4 different times. I was in mainly Pelican Bay shoe. I was in Corcoran shoe for a little while, waiting to go back to Pelican Bay shoe. And I can tell you guys right now, no one was tattooing in the shoe whatsoever. But who am I? Who am I? How do I know? I mean, I only spent nearly a decade in the shoe. So, what do I know?
1904 on the back of my calves was the first tat I got in the shoe once I put some work in. And my homie sat there and dug me out.
He dug you. This is something. I must have paused it too soon. Or is this? I'm coming out. Remember that song? Let's get to it.
Shoe once I put some work in, and my homie sat there and dug me out with a dull ass needle because we had no sandpaper.
Oh, my bad.
And we would just sharpen it on the ground out in the cages.
So this moron wants us to believe not only was he getting tattooed in the shoe, right? But the concrete floor in his cell wasn't good enough to sharpen a needle. He needed to sneak the needle out to the yard, right? You have to strip out, hand them your clothes and stuff. You had them search it. So he snuck the needle, the imaginary needle, from his cell out to the yard in order to sharpen it on the concrete out there. And usually the concrete on the yard in Ad Seg is very rough so that people don't slip and slide around it. But yeah, the concrete in his cell was not good enough. He had to sneak it out, and then he has to sneak the needle back into his cell. Yeah, I believe it.
Once I put some work in, and my homie sat there and dug me out with a dull ass needle because we had no sandpaper, and we would just sharpen it on the ground out in the cages. He's just sitting there.
Homies, anybody that's been to prison, shit, any tattoo artist, period. No, unless you've been in prison. Anybody that's done tattoos in prison, who's made a damn needle in prison. Did your needle ever make that noise?
Sandpaper, and we would just sharpen it on the ground out in the cages. He's just sitting there.
So let me get this straight. When you sharpen a needle in prison in Oklahoma or Arizona, wherever he was in this fake story, when you sharpen a needle, it makes the noise. But when you sharpen a knife, in the story you did where your neighbor was sharpening a knife, it was going, Ricky, Ricky. I don't know what kind of fucking metals they're working with where you are in your Narnia-ass prison. There's a lot of Narnia. I know fucking John Bravo plays Narnia music. I love it. I actually enjoy that. This, I don't enjoy. But I appreciate the hairline. The baby bird videos, like when he looks like a baby bird, but that hasn't got all his feathers in yet. I enjoy these ones. They're funny to look at. And he's gonna go like this to his glasses probably 1,000 times during this video. It's a trip. There's so much to laugh at. You know, his tattoos haven't been touched up yet. He doesn't have the stupid comb over tattoo on his head. So this is old school flashback Wes Watson lying about prison. My bad.
Just trying to get that thing sharp. And I mean, he sat there digging me out, just doing some negative shading letters. For literally, it took like 6 hours to do some negative shading letters. And then, mind you, we had to get a pomade jar and burn the ink to catch in a brown paper bag for seriously like 20 hours total.
Gentlemen, I don't know about any other state. Anybody that's done prison time in any other state, you let me know. Those of us out here in California, explain to me how he got hair pomade in the shoe. Since when were they giving out hair pomade in the shoe? I don't remember that at all. Then again, maybe it's because I shaved my head, right? But I don't remember hair pomade being on the canteen list, first of all. Second of all, so if they gave you pomade, so they're just giving you pomade in the plastic container still? Where'd they do that? Which shoe is going to give you plastic that you can melt down into a weapon? If you can melt it down to make ink, you would definitely melt it down to make a weapon, right? Oh, that doesn't fit your lie? Okay, well, that's reality in prison. So this moron is going to have us believe that they gave him hair grease, hair pomade, in the plastic container with the lid and everything, and they're giving him the bags, like, the fire. I'm allergic to this bullshit. Excuse me, guys. Thank you for those that said it. Bless you. This shit is getting serious, man. Old Wes is, there's a quirk about him no matter what. The new Wes is just fucking out of control. But look at skinny Wes. This is how he paroled. Skinny. But he was jacked in prison. But then he just decided to get skinny in the park. And then, boom, he got jacked again.
of burning this pomade hair grease to make the ink to make it.
Sure.
So the process we go through to get tattoos in the pen is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now we would get caught like every day because we didn't care. They'd come by and be like, "What's that smell, Watson?" I said, "We're burning ink." And they're like, "We're gonna come in there." I said, "No, you're not." And they're like, "We just didn't care." We're like, "Whatever, dude. Like, we're tattooing." At a certain point, the cops wouldn't trip no more, and the one cop was just all. He seriously was like, "Hey, can you draw me a tattoo pattern?" And my celly drew him a tattoo pattern.
What if he would have asked your Sally for a hand job? Like, you guys just, I don't know. I just threw that out there because you just.
Hey, man, just asked my Sally for a tattoo pattern, and my Sally, he just did the tattoo pattern.
He seriously was like, "Hey, can you draw me a tattoo pattern?" And my celly drew him a tattoo pattern. But at that point, we would have like a sheet up where he's tattooing me, so it would be covering at the back of him, and the cops, the warden, and everybody would walk through sometime.
Why is the warden walking through the shoe? 24 years in prison I did. 24 years. I don't believe that I ever saw the warden once. I saw associate wardens. Then, lieutenants will walk the yard, usually with a bunch of staff around them. Associate wardens and have a bunch of staff around them. But what reason would the warden have to be walking the tier? Was he doing count? He didn't believe his officers? And so he was doing count? And the warden was going to be okay with you guys just tattooing? Fuck, hey, this prison is a trip.
They're like, "Hey, move the sheet." And he would just be like, "Oh, I'm tattooing." At a certain point, they just don't even give a fuck, because in the shoe, to pull you out of your cell, both parties have to cuff up. So you have to walk up. You have to show them.
The cops have to cuff up, and you have to. Who puts cuffs? You guys put the cuffs on them, and then they put the cuffs on you? How does it work? Both parties. I know he means him and his Sally, but he's just so stupid. The lies are just too much. And back then, people were believing you. We can go back to the comments. They loved you back then, Wes. They loved you before the Bugatti and the fake chains and the stupid fucking tattoo on your head. And before you got rid of the mole, you and the mole separated. Things were different. Now it's just it's a shit show. That's why you're going to jail now, because it's a shit show.
Both parties have to cuff up. So you have to walk up. You have to show them everything. Butthole, whole nine. Cuff up through the tray slot.
Back then, at least nowadays, he's not talking about butthole as much. He was there's the mole. He was always showing his butthole. Everybody wanted to see butthole. Weird, Wes.
You have to walk up. You have to show them everything. Butthole, whole nine. Cuff up through the tray slot. And then everybody's got to be pulled out for them to search the cell. So it's just a hassle. In all reality, people want to act like it's protocol all the time. But when it's happening so often, the cops just get sick of it. And they're like, "Whatever, tattoo. I don't want to go through all the paperwork, have to strip you out, pull you out, all the whole nine." Unless they're having a bad day. And then they just want to look at buttholes and fuck with you and try to find your shit just to fuck your day up. And yeah, there's cops that like to do that, so whatever. But during that time in the shoe, it was crazy as fuck, because this one cop worked back there, and he was so fucking new. He was so nice, so, but whatever. He was kind dude. But here we are, some convicts, so we're taking advantage.
Where they at? I haven't seen a convict on one of your videos yet. He said, "Here we are, we're convicts." So this is the shoe? This is not the shoe, player. This is maybe an ad seg out of state. This guy is a people bought his bullshit for so long. Go back to the park one time. Oh no, they want to beat you up all over Miami now, probably all over Florida cats. Shout out to Florida. How you guys doing over there? What's that one guy, the white dude with the fucking grill and the dreadlocks, man? He beat up 1090 Jake. Pino. Get at that fool, Holmes. Tell him you're Mr. Florida. This fool says he's Mr. California. He's a convict. He's running shit. Pino! Brass knuckles his ass, too. Get him.
of his kindness, and that's just how it is. Like, we had to get shit passed. They kept tripping on us fishing, so the one cop was like, if you need to send a deodorant to your buddy, I got you. And we're like, oh, okay, cool, dog. Hey, appreciate that. Cool. So we call him over, be like, hey, can you give my buddy this speed stick? He really needs it. And he would like try to look through it, but we got our ways of stuffing shit in it. So we end up packing that shit with some heroin. And I was sending.
So let me just let you know, the shoes I've been in, you don't get to keep your speed stick in its container. When you get Canteen, they're gonna give it to you in a cup. They're gonna twist the thing so it comes out. They're gonna break it off. So even the plastic on the bottom of it, you're not allowed to have. We save our syrup packets. When we get our Canteen, we put our toothpaste comes in a paper cup. Our deodorant comes in a paper cup. When we get to the cell, we get a piece of nylon from our boxers, and we cut the deodorant and we slide it into the pack of syrup. And then we wrap it up so it doesn't dry out. The toothpaste, we get our spoon and we spoon it into our syrup packs. And we tie them up so it doesn't dry out. So, once again, story just doesn't add up whatsoever. Now you have cops transporting dope inside of the deodorant. I believe you.
Send it over there. And that dude fucking just goes, hands it to the
He
we're
does
laughing.
it.
We're like, this
Hey, you
fucking
laugh,
new ass
you fucking do,
motherfucker doesn't
motherfucker.
understand shit. You know, like, literally he just, whatever, he was a nice guy. Sometimes there is just some new booty officers that don't get it, and you got to give him respect. He didn't want to be a dick, but that was actually the one who caught my homies fishing the envelope with the rig in the black later. But he found out later that he was passing. He's like, fuck, dude, I was probably passing dope for these fools that whole motherfucking time. The crazy thing is, we would fish from the top tier. Someone would throw their line over.
Well, that's the crazy thing. Look. Back it up. This is the crazy thing about the shoe.
Out later that he was passing. He's like, fuck, dude, I was probably passing dope for these fools that whole motherfucking time. The crazy thing is,
This is the crazy part, guys.
we would fish from the top tier. Someone would throw their line over from the second tier.
Oh my God, this is crazy. They fished from the second tier to the first tier. You know you can actually from the first tier fish up to the second tier? I bet you didn't know about that. You would have told the story. It's actually possible. I've done it. You make a ramp, you throw your fishing line out, you hook it over the bars in the day room, but that's not in the shoe. That's in that seg. You pull it a few times, wham, and let it go. It shoots up in the air, lands on the second tier. That's even crazier. He said it's the crazy thing about the shoes fishing.
And it would land on the floor down here, and we fish out. We pull their line in, and when we pull their line in, we'll bring a cell phone over, we'll bring dope over, whatever. We'll be able to get everywhere around the building with just a piece of plastic.
Yeah, and then but you could do that. Obviously, yeah. Fuck, you can fish anywhere you want, but you utilize the cop. You put dope in a cop's hand. Yeah, you're on your game.
And some fishing, like some sheet, like the stuff out of your boxers and
Nylon. The mole has hair all around it, man. Holy shit. Oh man. I just made breakfast for myself. I wish I would have waited.
we make a line out of it, and then we end up being able to fish everywhere around the building. I've seen fools at big ass spots in 270 blocks get down. They basically would flip they put the shower shoe out the window, and they flip it against the top of the ceiling, and it goes over the railing. So then once it's over the railing, they can mess with the line. They can get on the table. I've seen fools get in the trash can, just pulling shit from the bottom of the building, the bottom tier, up to their cell. Fools are ingenious in the shoe. You're bored. You're figuring shit out.
I'm bored with this story, actually. Was that the point? The shoe part 3, and we're literally lying about fishing now. Why is somebody throwing their fucking fishing line into the trash? And what kind of trash can where?
I mean, at this time, it was just so crazy because one of the Southside homies, one of the downest fools, he was calling out all his people. And that's okay. The thing is, if someone calls you out, I always talk about shot caller this or that, or people have to obey these laws. If you're a shot caller, that don't mean shit. One of your people can call you the fuck out.
No, they can't. No, they can't. Let's listen to this.
If you're a shot caller, that don't mean shit. One of your people can call you the fuck out, and you got to ride. And the fact is, when you are the leader, you're less safe.
Everybody that's done time in California prisons just heard that and fucking laughed their ass off. If you're white, if you're Southern, I can only speak. Really, I'm going to just say, if you're a Southerner, whites is the same. If you're a Southerner, you don't elect yourself. Your peers don't elect you either. A legend or the legends appoint you. And it's known in that joint, on that yard, so-and-so is taking care of things for us. And you are backed and blessed by those men. Ain't nobody calling you out. Questioning that person's leadership is questioning that leader's abilities, basically. So this is just another, like, you know, when he says stuff like that, it's like, what did he really do time? And I know he did time, but this is solidification that he was never anywhere serious. To make up stories that the shot caller can be called, hey, I don't like the way you're doing stuff, I'm gonna take over, let's fight. That's the movie Shot Caller or some shit. What the fuck?
You're more safe following the rules of everyone. If a down-ass motherfucker shows up and you are the one calling the shots, he can call you the fuck out. He can say, hey, what's up, Wes, you fucking bitch, fool? Let's get it. And I got to get it right.
I'm sure you've been told that, hey, you bitch, and it had nothing to do with, I mean, you got your ass, again, in the county jail, you got beat up a few times because of your lies. In Donovan Reception Center, you got the brakes beat off you by that skinhead. So, yeah, I'm sure somebody called you a bitch and beat you up, but not because you were a shot caller. Imagine this guy being a shot caller. Are you kidding me?
Out. He can say, hey, what's up, Wes, you fucking bitch, fool? Let's get it. And I got to get it right then, especially if you're enforcing laws on him and rules on him and regulations of our race that he don't agree with because he came somewhere else. That happens a lot. So you would think that fucking you're fully just... You're good since you're calling the...
Listen, there are power struggles. Power struggles nobody's going to expose their hand. If the person in place has made bad calls, some people will have to be contacted, made aware of all the details, and they say yes or no. If they say yes, then the person that wants to take that spot or the people that are in play that want to take over, they're not going to do it. They've raised their hand to take over, and they got the blessing to take over, to establish the way things are supposed to be. Have things done the right way, and so they send a crew after the person or the people that were in charge. Then again, I don't know why I always try to interject reality into this fucking fairy tale. I'm waiting for somebody like to fly in on a unicorn, midgets or little people to be dressed up the same, and they were moving on somebody with candy canes. Like, I want to like get to the meaty part. I mean, I understand the crazy part of the shoe so far was fishing from the second tier to the first tier. Crazy shoe that you were never in.
The shots, everyone's rolling. Nah, that's not it. If a motherfucker wants to call out the shot caller, he can. He may deal with it later, but you got to ride. If anybody talks shit to you in the pen, if anybody disrespects you for any reason, a cop, another race, your own people, it don't matter. You're not safe. You have to get off. If you don't get off, you're getting got off on. You have to respect yourself and earn your respect, because I have to respect you and get your back. So you have to get your fucking back. That's how it works. That's how we create motherfuckers who are down to ride. A motherfucker who's got his shoes tied and he ain't gonna bitch out when that shit cracks.
Shoes tied.
So in all reality, you're never safe.
Never.
At this time, a Southsider homie was calling out all his people, telling you, you know what, I don't give a fuck. I'm already going to Corcoran from here. I already got life. I'm gonna fucking...
I thought you were in the shoe. Why is that guy going to the shoe if you're already in the shoe? Oops. Oops. So he's going to the shoe from the shoe? Usually if you're going to get transferred from the shoe, you're going to get transferred to Pelican Bay because you need, it's a little bit more strict. You don't have group yard. Well, depending on what your year, you don't have the cages, the dog runs that Corcoran does. It's just a little different, but... So now we're at a point where he's going to lie on a Southerner and say that a Southerner was calling out all the other Southerners. He would have been whacked immediately just for yelling out of his door. The fact that Wes Watson, as a white man, hears a Southerner on the tier talking about a coup, questioning the leadership, that dude would have got hit. Every time he came out of his cell, he would have got hit. Then again, this is Narnia. These are different Southerners. These are Southerners, Mars, from like Mars or like Neptune or some shit. So, I mean, that's why the story's different to my ears.
Let's sell it up. I'll stab it out with all you motherfuckers, just causing problems. It was probably like 2 weeks later from this event that this direct homie had a cop hit his house all crazy and took some shit out of his house. And when the cop came in to hand him his tray at night, he stabbed his hand through the tray slot. This fool was the one who took off on the cops before. He's the one who beat up the cop in the building before that. And then the last time he stabbed the cop in the hand with the tray slot, they were finally fucking just fed up with his ass. Little ass kid, man. So when you think you're tough out here and you think you don't fucking care about the rules of life.
What is that? What did that story have to do with you? I'm confused. We've seen enough. We have heard him lie about the whites. Now we've heard him lie about the Southerners. Who knows who else he's gonna lie about? And I'm not gonna let him do it in this video. He's an idiot. His whole shtick is running out. This is a flashback for Willy Wonka Wednesday. And who knows? Maybe I'll do another one today. Stay tuned. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.